Welcome everyone to our podcast. This is Heidi Hughes, your host at Lighthouse Energetics, and we're bringing the light. So we have an amazing guest today, and I've known her for a very long time, and her name is Kristine Magri, and she is up north, far up north. um, so hopefully it's not too cold up there. But she's an amazing woman, and I brought her on to share a little bit about her and what she does with her passion, her purpose, her philanthropy. And she's here to help give you guys some great advice. And I have gotten a lot of advice from her. So welcome, Kristine.
Thank you, Heidi. I'm glad to be here. I'm excited to be here. This is my first podcast ever, so wasn't quite sure what to expect. So thanks.
Yeah, well, I'm so glad you said yes. So you've always been an inspiration to me through all these years, and you're just one of those people, great to have around, and just the advice that you have is just amazing. So thank you
Thank
for
you.
your beautiful spirit and everything else. Thank you.
Thank you. I feel the same about you.
Mhm. So let's
Long
talk a
friend.
little bit. Let's talk a little bit about, because there's some different things that you do that are very interesting and intriguing and very helpful to everybody, all ages, from children on up, all the way, and as old as we can go.
Yep.
So I guess let's start first with something a little bit more familiar, which are the essential oils.
They're
And
all right behind me.
oh my God, is that what that is?
That's what that is. Those are all my oils.
Oh,
I have
wonderful.
oils in every room of my house. This is my dining room, and
Oh, wow.
they're right here because this is where everyone comes, and I can just grab it if someone needs something for something. And I can also cook with them, which I think is amazing. So
That is, yes, yes. Cooking with
essential oils.
oils. What are some other things with the oils? Like, kind of give us like a general idea about the oils before you go in with the oils.
So with the brand that I use, and honestly, I only use one brand. It's called doTERRA. So anything I say is only in relation to that brand specifically because I trust the science behind them and the testing that they do on their products. So essential oils work with our body chemistry because our body chemistry is similar to that of the plants that they come from. And it takes those components of the oils and, excuse me, and they're in a little bottle that you can just take with you anywhere. And they work for not just one thing, but like several different things. So I grabbed sandalwood, which is kind of funny that I grabbed this one because this is a really good oil to use right now with the situation going on in our world where everybody seems to be feeling out of control and like they just can't calm down on their own. Sandalwood is a very grounding oil. It's good to help if you want to meditate. It helps get you centered and it's a very earthy tone. So as far as the spiritual realm, it just helps ground you. But then you've got the physical components of them where they work on the different body systems. Excuse me one second. Like right now, I'm battling a little health challenge myself. So I've been rolling on guard on my throat and diffusing breathe and spearmint and lime in my diffuser to keep my respiratory system functioning properly and cleaning the air at the same time so that, you know, all those little nasty particles that are in the air will just get swiped away with the oils and cleaned up. And, they work on us spiritually, emotionally, and mentally. And physically. So it's not just one thing, one oil for one thing. It's one oil can do so many things. Like I had some head tension earlier, and I used a little bit of wintergreen right across my forehead, and it made my head feel a little better. For someone else, they might need peppermint or they might need a blend. So everybody's body chemistry is different, and it's not always a quick fix like everybody wants. But once you find that one or two oils that works for you, you've got it, and it will help you get through those healing processes a little faster because your body will know how to metabolize and utilize those oils in a much better way.
No, that's great. That's great.
They just
Yeah.
work so well with us.
Right, right. Well, I have a routine of my favorites, so it's good you said that. So, and then I have a bunch more, and I really haven't used some of the other ones, and I'd like to. And then I was like, maybe I'm overdosing myself with the essential oils.
So we can go over that, but we'll do that somewhere else.
Yeah, yeah. But definitely, like a diffuser. I use the diffuser daily because of where I live,
hmm
with the vents and everything.
Yep.
I have a lot of allergies with everything coming out of the vents. So I do a lot of the respiratory things that I'm taking and to help clean the air. And that seems to help me a lot, over everything is definitely the essential oils.
hmm
So, but
Yeah,
I want
I
to,
found good things with the oils where
well, I want
other
to
things
ask.
don't work.
Right, right. And so I know I feel so bad you're battling right now. So,
It's okay.
pump yourself up. But yeah, so what about something for protection as well? Like
Are you talking about like immune system protection or like energetic protection?
how about
Mm,
spiritual protection?
Okay. So that would be, and I actually have it right here because I'm using it on my throat to protect my throat right now. But On Guard is a really good one to use. And that's just like a barrier. So you put this on the top of your head and the bottoms of your feet, which I'm 99% of the time barefoot. So that's really easy for me to do. And then you could add in some frankincense. Same thing. Top of your head, bottoms of your feet. And then the last one is tea tree, because tea tree is all about energetic boundaries. And, I was just using it the other day, and it doesn't always get put back where it's supposed to when I'm in a hurry. So imagine me putting the tea tree on the top of my head and the bottoms of my feet, and then I've created the energetic boundaries. So that kind of creates like a little shield, but then you can also do like your own little protection prayer, or you can imagine yourself wrapping yourself in either a bubble or a cocoon of whatever color light you like, and then just surrounding yourself. But before you do that, you just want to make sure you have cleared your energy, whether you're using Palo Santo or you're running like a grounding meditation first. And then you just imagine that little bubble of whatever color, or that shrink wrap of whatever color, and you expand it out as far as you want it to go. So that only those things that are meant for you will come through that bubble. Anything that's not meant for you, that that little saran wrap or cocoon or bubble, it's going to send it back to them if they're sending you something that's not meant for you, but you're going to send it back to them wrapped in a little bit of love. So you're not giving them anything negative back, if that makes sense.
No, it does make sense. It does.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. Everyone's going through some battle right now, right? But no, so with the protection, is that also good, say if you're going in a crowded place,
Mm-hmm.
because with everything going on, some people are stressed out, anxiety or the news and everything else. So that's
Yes.
something that is also good for that too.
Anytime you're going into anywhere where there is a lot of people, a lot of energies, honestly, even just going into your home with your family members. Your home should be your safe space, but a lot of times it's where you let your guard down
Mm.
and your family gets in.
Mm.
And it's not that they mean to attack you, but it's just that you're so open, generally, to your family that it's easy for them to just get into your field and their stuff meshes with yours. So it's better if you can protect yourself around your family too. And when I say protect, I don't mean like put up a force field and don't let anybody in, because you want them in, but you just don't want to take on their stuff.
Now, what you're saying now moves into a mother, with
Mm-hmm.
their children, or say their husband comes home and he's stressed out from work, and then the children are running around all over the place, and you're stressed out. Maybe you're, the main person at home, and you're stressed out, and then your husband comes home, and then everyone's stressed out, and you feel like you don't get a break. Yeah. So
Like
if
the
that
Tom and
helps
Jerry
that too.
cartoons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I never thought
Yep.
about that.
And that's another part where diffusing can come in too.
Okay.
You can diffuse oils that will help keep the energy calm. And you can also clear your space with either sage or Palo Santo light and then just kind of clear the space with that so
That sounds
that it's taking all those lower energies and dispelling them and then filling it with the positivity instead of all the negativity.
No, that's great advice. Thank you for that.
And then it smells good too.
It does. It sure does. Now, how do you okay, so a little bit more about yourself. So you got the essential oils going on. Guess we can all go get some essential oil at your house.
Yep, I
So,
got tons.
but so below on the link that's reading below, you've got information down there so people can contact you, right? If they have any questions about oils, mom might want to call, even about their child, people getting not feeling well, they could, give you a call for recommendation, how to use the oils, right?
Yep,
Okay, that's good.
I think so. I don't know if I put my phone number or not, to be honest with you.
Well, as long as I have a way to contact you, I can also drop some links on YouTube and the website as well, so people can reach out to you. Because, like I said, you've always had great advice. So anywhere
Thank
from the
you.
essential oils, all the levels that it works on, and then even with the energy work and tuning and tapping into to who you are, and maybe you can give some advice on some things that we can ask ourselves, again with what's going on, and every time is moving fast, even though it's not, it's kind of shifting back and forth like a
Right.
carnival ride. So how would you ask, meaning how would you say to everybody a little bit of advice about that, with everything that's shifting and everything, what can they say? Is this my energy that I'm feeling? Is it my child's energy? Is it my house? Is there anything that they could say to kind of get a little bit of an idea so they can
Right.
tackle and go straight forward to the core of what's actually going on?
Well, you just kind of nailed it on the head. Is that's the first question you start with is asking, is this my emotion or is this someone else's?
Mm-hmm.
And if it's not mine, whose is it? So you can use I think you call it sway testing, where you ask your body to show you a yes and show you a no.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that, but it wasn't called sway testing when I learned it. So that's why I was a little thrown off when you and I were talking about that a while ago. But that was actually the first way I learned to response test. So I would ask my body, And it used to drive my daughter crazy because I would go into a supermarket and ask my body, is this food good for my body? And I would move back and forth. And my daughter would be like, would you please stop that? Because she's like, why are you doing that? I'm like, I'm checking with my body. And it embarrassed her. But it was like, that was the only way I knew how to do it. And I was very aware of what my body needed. So I was checking in on almost every food I put into my body at that time. But now that I've done this a little bit longer, I can do it with my fingers. So
Hmm.
I ask my fingers to show me a yes. So when I get a yes, I move. When I get a no, it stops like immediately. It's like no. So it does take time to practice it and to trust it. So you want to start working, excuse me, with things that you already know the answers to. So is my name George? Yes or no? Is my name George? No. Is my name Kristine? Yes. Did I have a dog named Midnight? Yes. Is my best friend Heidi? Yes. Does she drive me crazy? Yes. Do I drive her crazy? Yes. You know, I mean, you can be silly, but you can also, do I want to live in a state where I have to be afraid all the time? No. Like, my thumb is not moving. And one of the biggest things for me that
Mhm.
causes anger and fear and is watching the news. So I don't watch the news because it just creates so much more tension.
That is very true. That is
I will put
very.
it on long enough,
Mhm.
or I will let my husband put it on long enough that he can see the weather and get a quick summary of what's going on in the world. And then I'm like, all right, shut it off. Because I don't want all that negativity coming into my house.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. Yes. Whatever's
And
in your environment, right? People,
right,
places,
and
things, movies.
absolutely. Social
Yes.
media. I'm not a big social media person.
Mhm.
And all of our young people are all over social media, and we have more depression
It's
in
true.
our world right
Mhm.
now than we've ever had that I know of.
Mhm.
I may be wrong, but it just seems to me there's a whole lot more going on with our young guys and girls as
Mhm.
far as the whole depression and anxiety than there ever was when we were younger. And I don't know if it's just that we're more aware
Mhm.
that it's out there or that it's just because of all this social media, it's out there.
That's true. That's true.
So, that really worries me. So it's be mindful of what you're watching, be mindful of what you're eating. If you're
Mhm.
eating junk, you're going to feel like junk. It's all about finding that, which isn't to say I'm not going to sit down and eat a peanut butter cup. Come on, honest. I'm human. I love peanut butter cups, but it's not all I'm going to eat. You have to have a good balance of everything. And if you overdo one thing and you don't do other things, then you're out of balance and something's going to go haywire.
That's true.
So I'm
That's
just
true.
here to help people, get back from that haywire state that I used to be in to a
Mhm.
calmer state,
Yes. And
which is
I'm
why I'm
so,
going through this right now. Because
yes, I'm so glad.
my I'm breaking a pattern. My patterns have always been Christine's taking a step forward to do something and she gets sick. So what does she do? She goes to bed and she waits till she feels better. But
Mhm.
now, even though she does not feel so great, she hopped in the shower, washed her hair, and said she's doing this anyway.
Thank you so much for
You're
doing
welcome.
this. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Now, thank you for everything. We got to take a quick break and then we'll be back. So,
Okay.
looking forward to what's next with some more interesting things that you do. So, all
Thank
right, everyone, stay tuned.
I can tell you my problems, meditating my silence. But I keep pushing my pen, rotating my stylus. Brokenness feeling like sin, now no breath, low dollar. Used to be left on red, now all the girls go holler. Now all the girls go follow. All the fake fans gon' pile up. I need peace to borrow, get that shit right back tomorrow. Somehow all the fans go bravo. Smile so much to hide my sorrows. Faith is shaky in vibrato. I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. I can't hold a frown too long. I can't stay down too long. Look, running from pain, running from strain, running from things, running from schemes. Couple things I know, couple things I show, couple things I don't. I can tell you my problems, I can tell you my sins, I can tell you my...
Hi, everyone. Thank you for returning. So this is Heidi at Lighthouse Energetics, and we have an amazing guest that is with us. Her name is Kristine Magri. So glad you came back. So
Glad to be here.
yeah, thank you so much. So you have all this great information for all of us in all these areas of our life, which is amazing. So definitely after this, I'm going to be catching up with you, and everyone else out there, you can catch up with Kristine too. Ask
Absolutely.
away. Ask away. So I want to ask you something to share with everybody.
Uh-oh.
And it's the NoviChi.
Yes. This little guy. Woo.
Okay.
So,
Definitely share.
So NoviChi is this wonderful little device that I learned about 5 years ago that uses frequencies to help realign the body. And what it does is it uses sine waves, which is what our body functions on.
Mm-hmm.
And those come through this, it looks like a little computer mouse.
It does.
So it comes through this bottom part and through the top. So depending on what area of the body you're working on, or if you're working on both knees, you can put it between your knees and work on both knees at the same time. But you would lay it on the body, whichever area you're working on,
Mm-hmm.
to help it realign. And then this little part right here is where the light frequencies come out. And when you're doing emotional work, this is where a lot of the emotional part is done. We start with like the grounding and not the grounding, but we bring up the emotions by laying it on like the lower part of the belly near your root chakra. And then when you're starting to get those emotions up and you can feel them, then you take the light and you put it on your third eye. And it is amazing how this little light can bring to life the events in your life that have caused you to experience sadness or anger or resentment, all of those emotions that people don't like to handle,
Mm-hmm.
that we just like stick down because it's easier to just stick them down than to deal with them. Well, those emotions get stuck in your cells. And when emotions get stuck in your cells, then you end up with dis-ease in your body, and you can end up sick. So by using this little light to bring up the emotions, it brings up the emotions. You still have your memories, but it takes those emotions and diffuses it from those events. So I was actually I'm in a training for NoviChi at the moment because you know me, I'm always learning new things, and I wanted to learn more about NoviChi, and I jumped right in with both feet again. So I was doing a sadness protocol because in October we helped my dog cross over. And I've just been destroyed. Like, even up until I did this protocol the other day, I was like crying almost daily because she wasn't here anymore. So I did a sadness protocol, and I can look at her pictures and I can look at the blanket that a friend of our family gave us. So we had pictures of her on this blanket and, her stuffed animals and everything that's around. And I don't feel sad anymore. Like, I just, and actually, I said this when I was looking at her little blanket today. I'm like, I'm grateful that I had you here in my life. And I didn't feel sad anymore. And I was like, oh, because I know it works. I've used it for so many things, but this was the biggest grief that I'd ever felt in a long time. And to know that I could clear that heaviness in 45 minutes was just amazing. But it doesn't just take one event. It cleared my grandparents' passing. It cleared sadness that I had on my wedding day that I didn't even realize I had. But there was me in my wedding gown, and I was sad, and I don't know why. Doesn't matter. But it went away. There was sadness the day my son was born. Like, there were all these pieces that I didn't realize were there. This brought it up, and it released those feelings. And I don't carry that weight anymore. Because even though I didn't know it was there, it was still weighing on me. It was still affecting me. It was still in myself. So you may think you've handled it, but if you're just shoving it down, you haven't handled it. You just put it in a box to take down later. But if you wait too long, you're going to get sick. So I use NoviChi to get rid of my yuck so that I don't have to worry about it later. And Julia, the one that created NoviChi, just created whole new protocols specifically to clear anger and resentment and all the different emotional aspects that we go through, and then the body organ systems that are tied to them. Because, there are organs that relate to all the different emotions in Chinese medicine. So, it's not just one form of energy work, it's a combination in one little device.
That's
And
amazing.
it's
So,
amazing.
okay. So with that, besides everybody needs their personal one, they
Right?
do. I mean, that's amazing. And there's been a lot of people transitioning lately,
Mm-hmm.
and like their spouses and everyone is having a really hard time with the transitioning,
Right.
and everything's happening so fast. That's what I mean by that when I talk about that. And people are having grief and having a hard time with the grief and not understanding why. And
Right.
so I feel like this would be amazing. So definitely going to have to drop some links on how we can get in contact with you. And that's amazing that she made that. So is it a combination? It's got frequencies, which our body has, different frequencies. I understand that. And then what about, you said it also has light therapy also?
So it's light and sound frequencies. It's pure light frequencies and pure sine waves. So it's like light and sound combined.
Mhm.
So there's different parts of the protocols where parts of it are the sound waves and part or sine waves, and then other parts are the light frequencies. So the frequencies are what diffuse the emotions. And then the sine waves, like that's the grounding frequencies, that's the realigning frequencies.
That's great technology.
Yeah,
It's
it's
really
amazing
amazing.
because um I actually had a client that we did an addiction protocol on,
Mm-hmm.
and um, she could feel one of the emotions being pulled out of her hip
Wow.
with the light on her forehead. She
Wow.
could feel the emotion being pulled out. She's like, I feel this coming out of my hip. Is that normal?
Wow.
I'm like, that is normal
That's amazing.
because everybody's different. So they're
That's
going
true.
to, cram their things where they cram them.
That's true.
But for her, it was in her hip. So,
Mhm.
you never know where it's going to be stored.
That's true. That's true.
But
I
the
love
light
that.
will find it. As long as you've got a little crack for it to get in, the light will find it and pull it out.
I love it. That is amazing. I love
Yeah.
it.
And my favorite thing is
Hmm.
when I was first being trained, Julia flew out to New Hampshire for me
Mhm.
because I'm the only one on the East Coast that does this. And she worked with me, and a friend of mine is 100% disabled with PTSD.
Wow.
And I asked him to be one of my test subjects for training, and he did.
Mhm.
And to watch him go through the process was one of the most amazing experiences of my life because I was just watching. I wasn't facilitating. Julia was. And he would, he controlled the device because if it gets too intense, you can take it off and just take a breath and then put it back on because, depending on what you're going through, it's a lot.
Yes.
And his session was an hour and a half in total. And as he was going through his memories, and Navy brat, there's a lot of stuff in a military life that you go through.
Right.
And him being in the front lines, there was even more than, a brat sees. So
Mhm.
he was doing this, and I was watching his breathing, and he would take the light off, and I'm like, what's the matter? He's like, it's working. I can't believe it's working. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I don't feel angry anymore, or I
Wow.
don't feel whatever anymore. And I was like, that's amazing. And we all ended up in tears. And his
Wow.
wife had driven him to the session.
Mm.
By the time he left, Heidi, he drove his wife home. Now, that doesn't sound like a big deal, but he hadn't driven a car in 6 years prior to that session.
Wow. That's wonderful. That's truly, truly amazing. The frequencies, people don't, I want people to understand what they are and not be afraid of what they don't know. But at
Right.
the same time, we are frequencies, and how are the frequencies work on the outside to combat what's within and to heal us. So I think that's amazing. And I hope that you're able to help get this into, like with the soldiers, right? And then even groups with women, battered women and things like that. This would
That's a
be,
goal of mine, actually, to do that
oh,
somehow. Yeah.
mhm. This will be amazing. So I love it. I'm so glad you shared that with us because I haven't had that done to me yet, but I definitely want to.
Well,
So,
once you're up here, we'll figure it out.
okay,
This
we'll do
is
an
one you have,
episode.
yeah, this is one you actually have to be in person to have done because
All right.
you have to actually be engaged in
Right. I
the
understand that.
process.
Oh, that's amazing. Well, I
I've been
am so
trying to figure out how to do it through distance, but I haven't
um,
gotten there yet.
well, we got to get ready to wrap it up. So, is there anything that you would like to share with the audience today?
Not that I can think of. I'm just glad and grateful that you allowed me to be part of your show. I'm so excited for you that you finally got to do this. I know you've been wanting to for a long time.
Mhm.
Watching you grow has been amazing. So proud of you.
Thank you.
You're
Thank
welcome.
you. Thank you so much. Yeah. Well, so everyone in the audience, We'll drop some links down below so you can get a hold of Kristine and ask her all kinds of amazing questions. I'm sure you have questions for her. And like, she's helped me out so much. You know, I've known her since the 8th grade.
Yep. Long
So
time.
we've seen each other grow up. So,
Literally.
right. Well, anyways, thank you again for coming on the show, Kristine. It was a pleasure. And
Thank you.
again, thank you, audience, for joining us today. And stay tuned for what's to come on the next episode. And thank you again.
Thank you.